Once you know the principles of Lewin's force field theory, we can now implement it. And to do that, we're going to break it down into 5 steps. And we're going to start, the first thing that we're going to do is identify problem situations. So the difference between how things are, the present state, and how we'd like them to be, the desired future state. So we want to do that by looking at what forces are impacting the business today, but also what forces are likely to impact our business in the future. And what we're going to do is come up with some strategies to respond to those. The second step is we're going to identify all the forces that are encouraging the business to change. They're called driving forces. And what's really important is we're going to rank or weight those from 1 to 5. We're going to say a force that's very weak will be 1, and a force that's very strong is 5. Now, the scale you use is not important. Different textbooks, different videos say different things. We're going to use 1 to 5. Secondly, we're then going to go and do the same for restraining forces. We're going to identify them all, but then most importantly, we're going to rank or weight them from 1, very weak, to 5, very strong. And they're the things that are going to prevent us from changing. Then we have step 4. We need to now implement a response. And basically your job as a manager is to implement what we call an action plan. What does that mean? It means that you've now got to implement a plan that promotes or encourages the driving forces, either increases the number of them or their weight, their intensity, and or overcomes or prevents the restraining forces. So eliminate them where you can. Lastly, we need to evaluate the response. So we're going to implement a change, and then after a period of time, we're going to evaluate it to determine its effectiveness. Now, we're going to do that with our KPIs from previous chapters. They're going to tell us whether the change worked. And then finally, we're going to go back to step 1 to determine, did the change work or do we still have a problem situation? And if we do, we're just going to start the 5 steps again. So it's a process and a cycle that just keeps repeating. But it's easiest to remember how to implement this strategy if you just follow through and break it down into 5 clear steps.